Hello and welcome to today's show. Today it is a very interesting session because we are going to deal with something which interests many of us. Today we are going to talk about voiceover, rhythm of speech, breathing, resonance. We will also deal in this session how to be a television host. We will talk about the importance of body language in this particular area. And last but not the least, we will talk about the legal pitfalls, that is, what not to say during a voiceover or during a television hosting. So, let us start with voiceover. Apparently, when we speak, we don't understand how we sound. But when we are doing it for any kind of media, we have to be extremely careful about it. You must be knowing that there are many big names starting from Mr. Amitabh Bachchan to Amin Sayani who started their career as voiceover artists.
Bengal, Shonar Bengal, Mahan Bengal.
There was a time when All India Radio used to take voiceover artists depending upon how the voice of the particular person would sound on the microphone. In today's area, with the advent of digital softwares and very sophisticated editing, voiceover has become much easy, at the same time much complicated. Now let us understand what do we mean by voiceover. Voiceover is a piece of narration in a film or broadcast not accompanied by the image of the speaker. Now let me give you an example of voiceover. During the Republic Day parade that we see on television, we can see the parade on the television screen. At the same time, we get a brief of what is the parade all about, from which state, from which contingency the parade is taking place. So the narration which goes along with the parade for the television program is an example of voiceover. Is commentary, sports commentary a voiceover? Yes, we can also take sports commentary as a voiceover. Many a times we see documentaries which shows a lot of images, both still and video, along with a voiceover. So all this can be considered as a voiceover for us who are actually into the curriculum of media science. There are various types of voices, right? Different people reading the same script will have different presentation style. So you can understand the difference between the voiceover of Mr. Amitabh Bachchan and just think the same voiceover is being done by Sachin Tendulkar. So the difference in voice also has an impact on the voiceover. Another very important thing in voiceover that we need to keep in mind is the rhythm. The rhythm is also known as cadence. It is a way that our word flows. It is the rhythm in which we speak the words we choose to empathize. Now let me give you an example from this session only. Now, when I'm saying the word empathize, I'm actually putting a lot of stress on that because the word needs that. That is the demand of the word. A voiceover artist will make sure that these demands are being met, right? The ups and downs of the pitch is again an important part of the voiceover. Like the rhythm in a commercial advertisement will be different from the rhythm used in a, say, documentary on air pollution. If we see the commercial advertisement, we will find that it is always, most of the time, I mean, in the major part, we will see the rhythm is high and the voice is a very happy, chirpy voice. But when it is, say, a documentary on air pollution, a documentary on the condition of the mangroves at Sundarban, you cannot have a very happy, rhythmic voice. There, your voice should sound a bit serious, right? So this is something which we consider under the cadence or rhythm of voiceover. The rhythm of speech has an individual pattern We all have our pattern of rhythm. But as a voiceover artist, if that becomes my profession, we have to work upon that depending upon the need of the script. So if I am having a rhythm which is very fast and peppy kind of and I am given something very serious to be read, I need to change accordingly. So the rhythm of speech has an individualistic pattern, but there must be certain specifications which needs to be maintained, right? Another important thing in voiceover is how to control my breathing. So I am reading a long sentence. I'm doing a voiceover for a long sentence and I need to breathe, right? So how am I going to do it? People who have learnt Indian classical music sometime in their lives, or who are into music, they know how to control the rhythm, how to exhale and how to inhale more air so that it doesn't affect our tonal quality, it doesn't affect the spirit, the energy with which we are doing the voiceover. So voice or vocal sound, it is made when the controlled air is being exhaled from the lungs and it passes over the vocal cords using a controlled vibration. Now, this is the process. How I can control this? Keeping the remote control in my hand, that is something which is very important. The vibrating air resonance in the body, chest cavity, mouth and nasal passages. So, whenever a person is reading news on the television, you must have seen that. The person keeps on looking at the audience, that means the camera, the front camera, and reads. Now, how does that happen? Have you ever thought that how does it happen? Well, there is something called a teleprompter or an autocue. Now, what is an autocue? Autocue is a device which projects an enlarged image of a script onto a clear glass screen in front of a person speaking on television or maybe sometimes in public. This actually helps the speaker to read their speech while appearing to be looking at the viewers or to the audience. Autocue is a trade name for the teleprompter. So whenever you actually see somebody looking at the camera and speaking for quite long, say 2 minutes, 3 minutes or even more, you understand that the person is using the help of a teleprompter or an autocue, whatever we want to say that. Now, the next thing that I'm going to start is something which is very interesting, and I believe every young media enthusiast has an interest in that, that is television shows or talk shows. Talk shows, let me tell you, doesn't only come on television. It is a very, very popular genre of program in the radio medium also. Nowadays, with the digital medium and with the social media being so very convenient form of media for the common people, talk shows has become even more popular and easy to be done. If you see the various social media sites, there's various social media apps, you will find anyone is doing a talk show. It could be as simple as sharing a recipe on that, right? But do we see all the talk shows? Perhaps not. But some we see. We wait for those. Say, for example, there was a very, very popular talk show which used to come on Indian television was Rendezvous with Simi Grewal. So, Simi Grewal used to interview all the who's who of the industry. And it used to be a very, very popular program.
A familiar side. I mean, yeah, people kiss.
Yeah.
But it doesn't happen as a norm around the corner, you know, on the street corner whatsoever. It's more private. It's a more private expression of emotion. And so I guess art imitates life, and that kind of comes across in our cinema as well.
Then we have Coffee with Karan.
Welcome to Coffee with Karan.
Thank you,
Sharma.
Karan. Thank you.
It's taken me many years to get you on this couch.
Another very popular talk show with people from
Questions
Bollywood.
you ask, like they get too personal and
We have seen the Oprah Winfrey Show on international television, and the kind of popularity this talk show host has is beyond anybody's imagination. So talk shows are actually very, very popular genre of program in the radio and television, and now with the digital and the social media in the scenario, it is also a very common type of program there. Now, what does this talk show contains? As the name says, it contains a lot of talking. It is actually a hearty conversation between the host and his or her guest. In order to become a host of a talk show, what do we need? Well, there are a lot of things that we need to become a host of a talk show, right? But few things which are immensely important I will discuss in this particular episode. The first and the foremost thing that I need to know is, why am I doing it? Is it because my producer has given me the scope of doing it? Or is it because I really want to do it? It should be a combination of both. If I'm doing it for a particular channel, there should be a good networking between my skills and what my producer wants from me. That is a very important thing. The second thing is, when I'm given that, how am I going to prepare myself for that? Because talk show is not, sitting with a list of interview questions and asking one by one. It is a conversation over a cup of tea or coffee, right? So the flow of the conversation has to be controlled by me. At the same time, my guest should be able to express himself or herself with much ease. Because if I, as a talk show host, if I'm not being able to give that ease, that comfort to my guest, my talk show will become very mechanical in nature. It will not have that warmth, that conversation between two like-minded people would have. So a very important thing that we need to do before we go for hosting a talk show is research. Unless and until I have a thorough research, not only about the person, about the type of things that the person does, right? I will not be able to frame a structure, right? So the first thing that I need to do is I need to link my skills, my interest areas with the requirement of the talk show, number one. Number two, a very, very minute research about what am I going to do, the person I'm going to talk to, how I'm going to structure that talking, how I'm going to structure that conversation. Remember, we all love to talk and we all think, knowingly and unknowingly, that whenever we talk, we sound very good. But that is not always the case. Many a times it happens that, we talk so much that we lose the structure of the process, of the communication process. So I need to be careful about that. The third thing here, to be a talk show host, you need to be a confident person. And you need to be very, very sure about yourself. So just be yourself when you are in the talk show, and let your guest or let the person who is being invited to the show to be himself or herself. You need to be careful about the language in which you are doing the talk show. Whether it is English, whether it is Hindi, whether it is some other language, you should be aware about that language categorically so that there is no flip, right? Many a times this talk show happens live. So in that live talk show, you cannot miss on with your language. So a strong hold over the language is very important. Practice how you sound. Right now it has become even easier for young media enthusiasts to see how they sound. You can just put on your mobile camera on or your laptop camera on and you can practice You can practice how you sound when you speak, right? So these are the things we need to keep in mind while we start of thinking of hosting a talk show, right? Another thing which is very important, and I would like to tell you in details about that, that is body language. In a talk show, whether it is a talk show for the audio medium, a voiceover for the audio medium, and of course for the video medium, the body language is very important. Now, what does body language involves? Body language involves everything, and let me tell you, body language starts from how we think. If I am confident inside, it will show in my body language. If I have prepared a lot, overnight I have, gone through pages after pages, but I'm very shaky inside, that will also show in my body language. So we have to be very, very careful about the body language. Various studies have explained that how important body language is in expressing our confidence, in expressing our nervousness, and for television anchors particularly, body language is something which is very important, right? But also, saying so, let me also put it very clearly to all of you that even for audio medium, if the body language is not correct, the audio voiceover doesn't sound well. So if I am not feeling well, it will have a reflection on my body language. If I am very tense, my face will say that I am very tensed. If I'm shaking in fear, it will show the way I am speaking, right? So there are 3-4 points which is important in case of body language. Let me tell you those. Number 1, smile, right? Don't forget to smile when you are speaking on television or on the audio medium. Remember, in the audio medium, people cannot see you, but they can understand that you are smiling, you are happy while doing the thing. So that feel is there in our voice, that is expressed through our voice, right? So when I say smile, keep one thing in mind, we actually cannot smile if we are very nervous inside, right? At the same time, the smile also depends upon what kind of issue we are talking about, right? If we are talking about, we are doing a talk show with the doctors regarding the impact of COVID, how can we smile there? So we have to be empathetic towards the subject and decide to what extent we are going to smile. So this is another important point here I'd like to tell you is be very, very empathetic towards your subject and towards your guest, towards your profession, towards the job that you are doing right at the moment, right? And that will actually give you the right kind of body language. Another important thing in body language for hosting any show is eye contact. Look at the camera. It will give you confidence. Look at the person you are speaking to. It will help you to build a connection between you and your guest. So eye contact is another very important thing. Gesture and posture. So if I sit like this in a talk show, no, it's a wrong thing. So I have to be sitting with an open arm. This shows my openness towards the situation, towards the people that I am talking to, towards the issue that I have taken up in that talk show, right? I cannot do this. I'm sorry, I'm showing you this actually. That's the magic of audiovisual media, I can show you if I'm doing this while talking. It shows that I'm nervous. I don't know what is coming next. So what I can do, I can take a pen. Many a times, taking a pen gives us a lot of confidence because there's something to hold on. Remember, my dear friends, we all need things to hold on to when we are nervous. We cannot show our nervousness on the camera, but this pen is giving me the kind of support that I need. Use these props. These are meant to be used for talk shows. But remember that your gesture and postures are very important thing. I'm sitting and I'm actually shaking my legs. Oh no, it will show in my face also, biting nails and all those things. Or maybe I'm very confident and I'm always doing something with my hair. No, wrong. Why? Because for the audience, the attention will be diverted. Instead of listening to what is the content of the talk show, people will actually see what are you doing, which is not the intention of the talk show, right? If I can actually show a proper positive body language, it will give a lot of space and comfort to my guest also. Not only to my guest, it will give a lot of comfort to my viewers also. We all like to see people on the television, on the digital medium, like to listen to voices on the radio who are confident, sorted. They know what is next, right? I would certainly not like to listen to someone or watch someone on television who is very clumsy in the presentation. No, as a viewer, I will never be happy to watch that kind of a program or listen to that kind of a program. So we need to take care of that as well. And how? That will be taken care by our gesture and our posture. Another very important thing that we all know, but we still need to take care of is our dressing. Dressing depends upon the culture of the television channel, depends upon my comfort level. Dressing depends upon what is socially acceptable. Please remember that my talk show is not a place where I will come and do a kind of a fashion show. Never. My talk show is a place where I will call people, talk on a relevant subject, and I will do anything and everything necessary to make the talk show a proper, viewable program. The legal pitfalls which we need not say while we are hosting a program. Now, a journalist or a voiceover artist or a talk show host comes across a lot of people, right? And it is the responsibility of that person to be respectful towards the different types of people that they come across. We have a code of conduct given by the PCI, Press Council of India, and we need to abide by that. We need to defend the freedom of information, comment and criticism. We were given press freedom, but that freedom is not absolute. We need to know how much to say and how much not to say, because if my voiceover, if my interview hurts the political, religious sentiment of any community of people in my country or outside, it is not a very good thing to do. Rather, we should not do or avoid doing it. In a voiceover or in a live hosting, there is no scope of editing, there is no scope of correcting. So we have to be very, very careful about that. We need to observe professional secrecy and not divulge information which requires confidentiality. We need to regard as a grave professional offences. We have to keep certain things in mind, that is plagiarism, calumny, slander, libel or unfounded accusations. We need to understand that the profession of a journalist is not that of advertisement or salesman or propagandist. A journalist or a voiceover artist or a television host is there not to judge, but to put things in front of the audience, right? To resist any kind of pressure which will not go as per the PCI code or which will not go at par the media house, the regulations of the media house for which I am working. We need to be very, very careful about what are we saying, right? Unless a journalist, a host or a voiceover artist is careful about what is being spoken by him and her, it is very difficult to maintain the objectivity of journalism. So in today's session, we have talked about voiceover, rhythm of speech, breathing, resonance. We have talked about how to handle a television talk show, the important areas like body language, and another very important part at the end that we have tried to touch upon is what to be said during a reporting, voiceover or television host, and more importantly, what not to be said.